In the grand tradition, in the theatre of British royalty, it appears the current subplot is less Shakespearean tragedy and more reality TV reboot. Subtitled Her Royal Highness Redux, we're now deep into Act 4 of the Sussex saga, where monograms meet missteps and a gift basket bearing the title HRH, the Duchess of Sussex, has already set the stage ablaze once more. But before lunging pitchforks or pens, we have to ask more measured questions, like how has a courtesied style, one no longer in official use, come to symbolise the fraying fabric of family, monarchy and public dignity? So beginning with the basics, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry stepped down from royal duties in 2020, and not entirely willingly. Harry wanted to keep his military links, and he wasn't allowed to, as part of the so-called Sandringham agreement. It was churlish, it was cheap, and they agreed not to use the HRH styles in any working capacity. Crucially, they were not stripped of the style. It remains theirs by right. It remains Prince Harry's by birth, and whoever a prince of the realm marries is automatically entitled to the title HRH. It remains unused out of honour to the terms set out by the agreement, which was approved by the late Queen. And this is not a legal disinheritance, no Act of Parliament, no letters patent revoked. Instead, it was a mutual understanding, informal, yes, but powerful by virtue of its symbolism. And yet, in a podcast, there's this gift card unearthed like an archaeological shard from Montecito. The Duchess of Sussex used HRH in correspondence, albeit reportedly in a private context. Cue the uproar, headlines, think pieces, Twitter meltdowns, and now, if reports are to be believed, a whisper campaign from within the palace that Prince William, the future king, wants the final guillotine drop, complete stripping of titles. Now, I'm not sure that is even legal. I'm sure it's possible. I'm not certain that it's not prudent, and it comes across, as I said earlier, as cheap. Because here's the awkward historical truth. Nobody in royal history has lost their HRH without a divorce first. Diana, Sarah Ferguson, and that's the precedent. And even then it was a matter of optics, not constitutional necessity. Harry and Meghan, for all their grievances and Netflix documentaries, remain married, not to mention the parents of 2 children who remain in the line of succession. Moreover, peerages such as the Duke of Sussex are granted, not inherited in Harry's case, and there's no precedent for revoking one without the recipient's gross misconduct and an Act of Parliament. Even then, the optics would be Dickensian, the Crown using legislative muscle to punish its prodigal son, or in the case of Prince William, its prodigal brother. It would make for dreadful PR and even worse, politics. The phrase working royal, as I pointed out a few times, is a ridiculous oxymoron. It conjures images of solemn ribbon cutting and ceremonial head tilting, perhaps seasoned with a factory tour or two. What we're really talking about is the difference between subsidised visibility and self-funded celebrity. One may wear a tiara, the other a podcast mic. But it doesn't change the nature of the birth of the individual. To feign outrage over a stylized gift card, especially when we're talking about a woman who is no longer on the civil list, who doesn't claim to represent the state, is to indulge in the very worst kind of courtly pedantry. It's theatrical loyalty at its most vapid. It's snobbery at its most outrageous. Meghan didn't attempt a coup. She sent ice cream. This, then, is not about statecraft. It's about snubbing. It's about pettiness dressed in ermine. And if Prince William does wish to excise his brother and sister-in-law from royal nomenclature, we must ask, is this an act of duty or an act of revenge? To strip someone of a style, not because they dishonoured the crown, but because they embarrassed the family, is to turn monarchy into melodrama, more East Enders than Elizabethan. And it begs the question, if Harry is no longer trusted with his titles, why is he still 5th in line to the throne? If there is to be a constitutional reckoning, let's be honest, not petty and piecemeal. Change the rules if you want to, but not the stationery. There's also something rather cruel and unmistakably gendered in this tone, in the tone of the whole affair. Once again, it's a woman who's targeted with special venom. Meghan, like Diana before her, like Sarah Ferguson, is accused of using the royal family while simultaneously being shunned by it. The Duchess is both too royal and not royal enough. She is apparently guilty of being both too visible and too absent. Yes, the use of HRH was clumsy. Yes, one could argue it was a breach of etiquette, but etiquette is not ethics, it's not treason, it's not disgrace, and it's certainly not a just cause for banishment from the family registry. So let's call this debate what it truly is, not a constitutional crisis, as the Daily Mail and the GB News would like to have it, but a symptom of a royal family still floundering in how to manage the tension between bloodline and branding, tradition and tabloid. If William wishes to lead as king, let him rise above such pettiness. The monarchy must remain an institution of dignity, not one of spiteful edits to Debrets. And as for Meghan and Harry, whatever titles they carry, let's hope they remember that character outlasts coronets and that history, not hashtags, will be the final arbiter of who acted with grace.